So let's dive into how we're going to make all this possible. And just to zoom out a bit, I want to look at how things used to be. The way things used to be is people used to go on a diet. They used to say a calorie is a calorie is a calorie, and if you're overweight, it's your fault and you just need to eat less. Or you go to the medical doctor and you're struggling with high blood pressure or blood cholesterol or blood sugars, and they say you need to go on a diet, you need to clean up your act, you need to do more diet and more exercise. And it's so demoralizing and it's so debilitating because most people in either of these boats have tried so hard and nothing seems to work. And that's why we created homemade cooking. That's why we created this technique that thousands of people have used to transform their health. And so what happened is this old method is just not working. And people are starting to realize that. And people are standing up and taking notice. And the New York Times and NPR is running stories about how dieting is out and it doesn't work anymore. So today, there's a new movement. And this movement is the movement towards cooking. And it's a movement away from processed foods, away from convenience and fast food. And it's a movement towards whole natural ingredients. And so we're all part of that movement. And what we've done is create a formula to help real people apply these concepts in their life. I'm going to show you why diets don't work. And this comes up so much for our members, so I'm really excited to share it with you today. So let's come over to this whiteboard, and as you can see here in the first column, it's the dieting scenario, and the second column is not dieting. And I've written 7 days down the side there just to give you an example of how it can look. So let's say you begin your diet, and I'm going to draw this circle to represent the amount of food or calories you're allowing yourself to eat on that diet. Because all diets fundamentally come down to a certain restriction on your calories. So even things like the juice cleanse or Atkins, they ultimately come down to reducing calories. And that's why they're a diet. So let's say one circle represents the amount of food you're allowed to have on your diet, or the amount of points you're allowed to have on Weight Watchers. And so you start off and you're motivated, you're excited, you're going to do it this time, it's going to be different. So day 1, we're good. Day 2, we're good. Day 3, we're good. It's going great. You know, you think you can really stick to it this time. But then what happens is on day 4, a friend at work has a birthday. And you walk into the staff morning tea, and suddenly, because you're so calorie deprived and you're so hungry and you've been obsessing so much about food, you end up eating 3 cookies. So we go to here. And now what happens is the feelings of emotions and guilt and self-hatred flood in, and the food tastes so delicious to you too because you've been deprived, and your carb-starved body is saying, yes, give me more carbs. So the 3 cookies turns to 6 cookies and so on. So by the end of the day, you've thrown your diet out the window, you've gone and got pizza, burger and fries for dinner, whatever. And unfortunately, it doesn't stop there. It happens again the next day. You're caught up in this cycle of eating because your body is sending you signals to keep eating because it's starved. And then on day 6, you kind of start to bring it back together. You're demoralized, but you just sort of fall back into your old patterns. And so the end result might look something like this. Now let's look at what the scenario looks like without dieting. So my members often come to me and I tell them to eat for nourishment and satisfaction. I tell them they never need to go hungry, they never need to count calories or points. And I tell them sometimes to eat double the amount of food that they're allowed to have on their diet. And they say to me, Anna, how can I eat this much? How can I eat this much and still achieve my health and weight loss goals? Well, let me show you. So I've put 2 circles there, and remember, each circle represents a certain number of units of calories. It could be 500, it could be 1,000. It doesn't matter, but they're consistent across the 2. So let's say you start, and this isn't a diet. So you're eating for nourishment and satisfaction. You've had your 2 circles, whatever that entails, and you feel good. So it continues, and it continues, and it continues. And now on day 4, we get to our staff morning tea, and you might have a cookie. So let's add a circle for that. But because you're not calorie deprived, you don't need to eat the 3 cookies. Your body's not starving. You can chat with your colleagues or friends, enjoy the cookie, and then it's done. And that's it. And that's the beauty of this approach. So you finish your week nicely, and then let's say you go out for brunch or a burger and fries on Friday night or Saturday. So we're going to add a circle there, and maybe you even have 2 meals out on the weekend or Saturday or Sunday. So we've got 4 there. Now here's the clincher. Let's look at the total number of these standardized units. Let's add them up. So here we've got 1, 2, 3, plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So plus 10, plus 3, so that's 16, plus 4. So that's 20 units of whatever those calorie units were. And now let's look at this one. Remember, on this one, we got to eat double the amount of food you eat on a diet. You got to have your cookie at morning tea, and you got to possibly eat out twice on the weekend. You got to have pizza or burger and fries or go to brunch and have bacon and eggs and a cappuccino. And now let's look at how many points this is. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 11, 13, plus 4 is 17. And this is why diets don't work, and this is how you lose weight without dieting, without restricting calories, without going hungry, without depriving yourself. Because look, the total amount of calorie units you ate when you weren't dieting and you weren't going hungry and you weren't binge eating and you weren't having cycles of guilt and deprivation emotions is less. In fact, it's like 15% less. Now, 15% less calories over a few months amounts to many pounds of weight loss, depending on what your starting weight is. So I hope that helps. I hope you found that interesting. Let me know in the comments below if you can relate to this, because I hear from a lot of members that they've been on the dieting cycles of yo-yo dieting, and they experience such freedom and liberation when they learn to eat the homemade way, when they learn to eat for nourishment and satisfaction. So have a wonderful day, and I'll see you soon.